What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Earlier this month I saw David Leitch's action comedy film Bullet Train. You might have seen this movie getting some bad reviews from critics. Some I found on Rotten Tomatoes are particularly brutal, calling the film overly bland, self-satisfied and not as clever as it thinks it is. But with a 76% audience score, it seems most people enjoyed it. And I count myself among them. By the way, this video will contain some light spoilers, so you have been warned. Bullet Train, after a bit of a slow start, is action-packed and entertaining, and takes you on a journey that gets crazier and more bombastic by the minute. The film is set almost entirely on board the train, apart from the beginning climax and a few flashbacks. The restrictive nature of this confined setting makes it necessary to be as creative as possible, which I think the film excels at. Yes, it can get stupid at times, but the good kind of stupid. It does feel like the screenwriter is making things up as he goes along sometimes. Characters die and are seemingly resurrected left, right and centre, and there's an overabundance of plot armour on our main character Ladybug, played by Brad Pitt, who is supposedly very unlucky. There are quite a few other assassins, including Lemon and Tangerine, two twin brothers who are trying to deliver a briefcase to the White Death, a Russian Yakuza boss who's the film's ominous main villain. The other assassins include the Hornet, played by Zazie Beetz, whose gimmick is that she has a special type of venom that makes people bleed out of their eyes. She's killed very quickly by her own venom, by the way. You'd think she would have made sure she was immune to that stuff, but hey, what do I know. There's also Wolf, played by rapper Bad Bunny, whose gimmick is he's Mexican, and he howls like a wolf. He also dies almost immediately after a whole scene dedicated to his backstory. I thought it was a shame that the film didn't really use these characters since they could have been really cool. And finally there's also the Prince, played by Joy King. Her secret weapon is that she tricks people into thinking she's a helpless young girl, but is actually Talia al Ghul. I'm really glad Joy King is getting these big roles. She's really talented and I think people mostly view her as that girl from the kissing booth. There's also a side story involving another assassin named Kimura, played by Andrew Koji, and his father, the Elder, played by Hiroyuki Sanada. Unbeknownst to him though, the prince is the one who pushed his son off a rooftop before the events of the film, and she uses this to blackmail Kimura. This leads to some good tension, but I wish we got to see him reunite with his son at the end and find out whether or not he got out of his coma. But it seems the film just forgot about that. The Elder shows up in the final fight to eat bubblegum and kick ass, but the concessions lady ran out of bubblegum. By the way, I was half expecting the concessions lady to also secretly be an assassin since she shows up a few times and I thought it was like a Chekhov's gun situation. She never was, but considering she is literally a katana, this was probably a missed opportunity. Probably one of the film's biggest strengths is that it doesn't take itself too seriously and just has fun. The actors all had great chemistry together and there are some funny jokes and visual gags. Although it does fall into the generic Marvel humour sometimes. Something I thought was really cool was that the pop songs included in the movie were sung in Japanese, like during the climax of Holding Out for a Hero. I thought it was a great detail and really showed commitment to the setting. Although I guess you could say it ripped off The Dictator. And Shrek 2. And yeah, some scenes are just amazing to look at. The scene with the White Death burning down the Yakuza headquarters was incredible. The film also has this ever-present neon tinge which adds a lot of vibrancy and actually feels relevant to the setting. I remember watching John Wick, which Leitch co-directed, and being a little bit annoyed of how artificially neon everything was. But here it actually makes sense. I've never actually been to Japan, but if I do go and the place isn't smothered in neon, I'll be really disappointed. You lied to me, movie. Now, the film isn't really grounded in reality. I mean, for one, no one on the train seems to take any notice of the violence going on. I know the White Death bought out the whole train, but come on. It relies heavily on a lot of video game physics, especially at the end when the train crashes and sends all the characters flying around and ending up remarkably unhurt. The quote-unquote good mercenaries win, and there's also a surprise cameo from the cast of The Proposal at the end. So yeah, I really had a lot of fun with this one. And I understand that a lot of criticism is that the film is only fun if you turn your brain off, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's engrossing and very stylish, and if you're looking to just relax and enjoy an ultra-violent action spectacle, then this is the film for you. And I'm giving it 6 stars out of 10. By the way, I just found out that this film is based on a book. It's called Maria Beetle by Kotaro Isaka, so I'm probably going to check that out too. That's the end of the video. Please leave a comment telling me your thoughts on the film, and I'll see you next time.